Well, thanks for joining the conversation. We are back talking about the state of the fourth estate in a very harsh environment. I want to talk about this whole idea of fake news.
It is so easy these days. I mean, you can tell a lie and put it on a bumper sticker because the lie will fit on a bumper sticker.
Yeah.
The truth is much more complex. The truth takes a longer moment to sit and digest and then to deliver.
Ricardo Sandoval Palos, public editor for PBS and co-founder of the hit digital magazine Palabra, joins the conversation along with Palabra's managing editor, award-winning journalist Valeria Fernandez. We've been talking about the positives of Palabra's collaboration and independence aimed at doing better truth telling. But that model has another side, casting a more threatening shadow, particularly on politics.
Right now, across the United States, for example, as we see the number of local outlets disappear and so-called news deserts getting larger and larger, what's filling the void? I tell you, one of the things that's filling the void is what we call in the business a pink slime news operation.
Mhm.
These are news operations that are funded by ideologically driven interests. And there, according to the Columbia Journalism Review and a couple of other surveys, there's about 2,000 of these local news sites around the country that are powered by special interest money. And they often use AI, artificial intelligence, and templates to deliver the news as they see it.
You took me to an interesting place. Let's talk about DACA. Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, a critical, hard-fought piece of legislation that could determine the future for some 700,000 Dreamers. Those are immigrants brought to the U.S. as infants, still in limbo over deportation. And then they say DACA could provide a pathway for some 2.7 million others who are living here unprotected by DACA. There's an irony here that I see in reading about this. Most of the Dreamers are educated. These are people with high school, college educations. They're in the workforce. And this is at a time when the U.S. is still experiencing a labor shortage. Are you still scratching your heads over why DACA gets so much opposition?
I mean, this is about information and misinformation and understanding how politicians, for whichever party, manipulate us, right? They use certain emotional issues to tap into people's fears sometimes or people's emotions. And so we don't see a real public honest debate about what can be done to address the reality of this young generation and their parents who now have been here for over 30 years
Yeah.
without papers, still contributing to the economy. It's working the way that government wants it to work. Because in a way, it's cheap labor for them, right? And it's helping boost the economy, is the engine of the economy, right? And so the government doesn't want to invest what it will take to get all the people out of the shadows, give them their rights, give them their legal papers. They take Social Security from these people's paychecks. And there is you do the research, there is this suspended fund of money over there that people get taken out of their paychecks that they're never going to see because they're never going to be able to get access to retirement.
Right.
Imagine working 30, 40 years here, like the Dreamers do, and then not having access to these in your old age.
It's also keeping people out of the political process.
Yeah.
So because the longer you forestall someone becoming a legitimate resident in the US, the longer you forestall them eventually maybe even seeking citizenship, the longer you maintain a status quo that's working for you. So how do you do that? You promulgate myths. You support myths that that immigrants are harming, for example, migrants are harming the Social Security system. That suspense fund is in the right now is about $15 billion, and that's actually money that most undocumented immigrants will never be able to claim. And that money is actually, in a way, kind of propping up the system. So, if those stories are told, then you chip away at these myths that have been established around the big issue like immigration.
These myths They've been around since I started my career in 2003 as a journalist, and they just keep getting rehashed and rehashed and rehashed. And
Yeah.
it's like, really? I mean, as voters, we have a responsibility to educate ourselves. Enough about complaining about media. Let's go do our homework. And then I invite people, go read Palabra, and then pick a couple of other outlets, very different, and then see how your experience as a news as an audience, a news reader changes.
Well, that's the perfect invitation for this conversation. My thanks to both of you. Let's go back now live to our convention hall coverage.